Hey, what's up, Internet? It's your boy Jesse with Gravitas. Today we got Templo, Liam, and we're really excited to have him doing a little interview. We've got an upcoming release with him coming out on September 6th. It's called Mountains Can't Cry. So, Liam, welcome. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, brother. I'm doing good.
Yeah, man. It was great to connect. I saw you recently at Arise Festival. We got to kind of walk around and see some music and just vibe and connect. So that was really cool. So
yeah, that's a good time always.
Absolutely. You're very lucky to live in Colorado, man. There's so much beautiful music and events and obviously all the nature, which kind of ties into the name of your release, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. This it's been crazy watching it grow since I was born here, grew up here, and just every year it was like getting bigger and bigger.
The scene there is wild, man. If anybody hasn't been to Denver, definitely, or Colorado in general, check it out. The scene is where it's at as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so tell me about this year and what you've been up to, man. You've been busy.
I've been busy for sure, playing a lot of shows, traveling around, had some good like pairings on a few runs with some good friends, but it's definitely mainly been about just producing and trying to get to the next level there with just mix downs and ideas and getting everything really to the point of crispness that I want it to be at.
Yeah, anything specific with your mixing that you've kind of figured out on your end that has opened up some
I used to mix too loud for sure. Once I quieted down the mix and tried to not let my speakers be cranking too loud, it definitely started to make a lot more room there for me to kind of put in sounds that would be a little bit too quiet to fit in.
So it's kind of that counterintuitive idea of like actually physically turning down the volume on your monitors so that you're hearing it in a different way.
Yeah, I definitely am now fully realizing that how crucial it is to just be below that kind of negative 6 dBs mark that like everybody talks about, but you just, when you're a young producer, you want to just turn it up and make loud music. And
yeah.
Yeah, then you take it to the venue and you're like, whoa, that's a little over compressed, guy. So
yeah. Well, I'm really excited for this release, Mountains Can't Cry. I know we're doing some of the net proceeds are going to be going to charity, so that's cool. Can we talk a little bit about what we're doing there and why that's important and where that's coming from?
Definitely. I'm stoked on that. I don't know, I've been all over the board this year on just like kind of the styles I've been working on, and I've just been trying to switch it up a lot just to make sure I'm kind of know what I'm doing in all aspects of it. And this one definitely turned out to be like very kind of world vibes, a lot of like ethnic instruments. I recorded like some melodica and like some pipa lute from China and like did a lot of drum stuff. And so I just figured this was definitely this one's for the earth.
Yeah. Well, that's our vibe too. We've been definitely, with people like Closey and Little Fish and David Starfire and the Circulate compilation we just did with Suhan and David Starfire. That's been something that I think we're really connecting with that vibe. So it was really great when you guys sent this EP over. For me, like the dub and the reggae mixes in there, like I'm a huge reggae and dub fan, and I could hear that influence. So tell me a little bit more about where you're coming with that.
Same thing for sure. I've always been like very inspired by it, but for some reason, I was always just kind of in the very beginning working on just like, first of all, like finishing tunes, and then it was just like kind of chill, and it was sort of what happened. And so right when I hit that point where I was like, all right, I can kind of like what I want kind of comes out, I was like, I gotta go in on that. So I just started cranking out some like, the reggae feels a little bit, and a lot of those kind of like guitar chucks and those classic things in there. And These ones really like honestly just flowed right out of me. They were waiting to get made for sure.
I love that. That being said, like the BPMs and the energy levels are a little bit higher than like a traditional dub or reggae.
Yeah, definitely. When I would go in and kind of like hit like listen on my influences a little bit, in the actual, you know, like dub realm of like maybe like Don Carlos or like Sister Nancy and stuff like that, like they're way slower. It's like 120 to 140, and so for this, like those are good for listening, but I still wanted to keep it like so I could play it out and get people moving, and also kind of have it be a coherent transition from like other, maybe because a lot of it's like 160, 170, and have it be able to transition to that pretty cohesively.
Yeah, it's a vibe for sure. And that's the other thing I noticed about this set of songs. It's very cohesive. I don't know that I would, you know, usually when we're putting together a release, we're looking for the single or something that we're going to be like, this is the track we're going to push. And I don't know that there's any, they're all good, obviously, but there's not any one track that's like, this is a standout one. So I think that's actually really great for me, because I like groups of songs that really tell a story and have a flow. So, I mean,
I totally feel you, man. That definitely is a thing where it's just like you kind of make this group of tracks and then one of them really stands out. This one, I really try, you know, I kind of made them all consecutively, and I was just like in that zone. And so I think it just helps with like, yeah, I would use like, sometimes I'd use the outro from one song to kind of intro the next song. And I just really wanted it to be more like whoever decides to listen to it also gets to decide like what they like most about it. Because a lot of the feedback I've gotten just from friends and other producers and stuff is just like, oh, I like this one, and they're different. So I'm pretty stoked on that too.
Nice, yeah. Well, it's been great working with you. I gotta say, big ups to your manager, Angela. She's on top of it.
Champion.
You know, working with Madison House, they're a great team. I think you got a lot of really good people in your corner. I mean, you know, I also do management as well. And so when we work with artists and we see that they've got a team behind them, that's really great for us, because, you know, Angela's been following up on things and, you know, moving the ball forward, and we love that. And that's, you know, just something I wanted to chat about is like, you know, I get this question a lot where people say like, how did you find your manager? How do you find a manager to work with? So do you mind sharing maybe how you and Angela first met, or how that relationship developed?
I mean, first of all, I could not do anything without her. She's totally like half, maybe more than half of what Templo is. But
oh, nice.
We met through, I mean, it's kind of a long story, but I was playing with a band way back in the day, and so we met our good friend Tyler, and so that's who we were working with originally. And it just kind of grew. Tyler was my manager for a long time, and then Angela joined him, and like we just vibed, and it ended up transferring to where like he was just like, all right, Angela and you are together now, and we've just been good ever since growing. It's been 6 years now of just
yeah, wow, that's awesome. Together. So is there any one thing, like if you had a piece of advice for someone who like trying to find a manager or looking for something inside of a manager, what would you say around that?
I'd say you gotta just keep making music. People feel anything authentic. I think that's the only reason anyone was like, I was able to connect with anyone, especially as soon as I did, it was just like, maybe the tunes I was making at that time weren't like the best. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but it was definitely like authentic, I think. Yeah. I think people are drawn to that, and so definitely you gotta keep moving, and the right thing will find you. It's definitely not smart to like force anything, I'll tell you that. Forcing any kind of relationship with a manager or an agent is like, can be trouble for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So just kind of letting things naturally develop and looking for people that you align with, like
exactly,
kind of on a human level first, foremost.
Exactly. it's got to be the both thing. Like, I mean, it's hard to have friends in business sometimes, but like it for me at least, it wouldn't work unless I could also like go hang out with these people and not talk about music for, you know, and not even deal with that, and we just hang out and have a good time. Like, so
For sure.
you got to use your friends. You got to use it seems like it just shows up after some time. It happens.
Yeah, the universe will reveal itself.
Exactly.
You said a couple times during this, like, kind of the mixing aspect or being able to finally deliver the sounds that are in your head and things like that. So I kind of want to talk about that artist journey and the path of, like, you know, you're always learning, and the technical aspect, and somewhat, you know, and said another way, the imposter syndrome. I see a lot of people kind of getting stuck and like not putting themselves out there because they're like, well, I don't know this or that, or this isn't good enough. And I can see that, having watched you, you're just like going for it and letting it happen, and you know that you have the you know, the skill and the talent to like figure this stuff out, and letting that kind of develop. So
yeah, I didn't always, but you're totally right. I've seen it a million times where it's like someone's making great tunes and they just won't release it because they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or it's almost like overthought. I'm just like very, very pro the idea that people like need to share those things. It's the only, I would not be where I was unless I just went and released like some old music that like now I listen to it and it's like I still appreciate it, but I'm like, God, you're just such a rookie, dude. Like, and it's
yeah. I mean, I can see that in Gravitas when I look back on some of like the art and some of the marketing and stuff we've done. I'm like, but like, that's the only way you're gonna learn. You just gotta make your mistakes and you gotta do it. And so like that was the point I was looking for. It's like you just gotta go. And
you gotta do it. Yeah. If you're trying to do music, you gotta let people know, because it can't. Yeah, the internet's a very powerful tool, and if you just got stuff out there, like somebody's gonna latch onto it, and still people will, when I'll get a message or something and they'll be like, say, oh, this is my favorite track you've ever made from my first album, and I'm like, but at the same time I'm like, if that's what you like, then by all means, like.
Yeah, it's such a different experience of like listening to something as a fan where you were not part of that creation process and all the like that went into creating it, and then the overthought, and then the mix down, and then the mastering, and then you had this idea attached to the certain idea of what it was supposed to be, but then you deliver in the final product. When you actually release it to the world, like it's not yours anymore. You're letting people have it and then their experience with it.
Totally. That's what you got to do. You just got to get out there. But
so tell me a little bit about your workflow in the studio. How has your process changed over the years as you've kind of become a more mature producer?
It's kind of like we were talking about. In the beginning, I was sort of just cranking out tunes as fast as I could. I was learning how to make drums and do stuff like that, and like that was very important. And so now that I have all these releases online, and like I kind of know that once you release something, that's forever, you know. I treat the mix down a little bit more like that, or I take my time with the ideas a little bit more, actually a lot more, because it is kind of I've definitely evolved in the last year or two, more to the point where I'm trying to like make something that I'm going to be very happy with like 10 years from now, you know. That's one thing I haven't had yet, where I just keep cranking out tunes. And so if you see me play a set, I'm going to play my new tunes. Like that's what's going to happen. And
you think that's like a maturity / like you've gained confidence in the studio, and now you don't feel like you have to put out 100 songs a year. You're like, I'm gonna take my time. I know what I'm doing. I can just get this right.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that, I'm so thankful that I was doing that, because I just learned so much. And like I said, it's like now truly, if I like want a sound or I want this, like I know what tempo I got to go to. I know where I got to start, and I know like how to build it and then get from through the arrangement of the song pretty much. And it's like, I for sure would not know how to do that like I do unless I have made like literally thousands of songs.
Yeah, I had a really fun conversation with Craddy. I don't know, he's, he hasn't been around in a long time, but he was an original founding member of the Glitch Mob. And
Okay,
at one point he was like, if you make 100 songs, 10 of those are going to be good. If you make 10 songs, like one of those are going to be good. So I think the point he was trying to say to me at that time was, especially in the early days of an artist's career, it's more important to just create and learn and do and get it. And then as you kind of come over that like hump and you really kind of master your craft, so to speak, then it's time for you to really like hone that in and kind of slow down and be a little bit more methodical about the work that you're putting out.
Yeah, definitely creating all those songs is like very important, and that's what I recommend to anyone who's trying to get into it. Is I'm just like, first learn how to produce drums. Like, you can't be cutting all these drum samples, and it's just really about, I don't know, it's more to me about having like an original feel than having, in the beginning at least, something that's like, I think people just want to take in what is like unique to you,
right, more
than they want to take in sometimes just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, a lot of people want to come out the gate, and even me, when I was starting, it's just like, oh, I hope this blows up. Like, I hope this does really well and I can like take off super quickly. But the reality of it, like, if I'm really thinking about it now, I would be probably upset if like those songs that I wanted to blow up right out the gate had done that, because it would just be, I don't think I would have gotten pushed like I have to kind of take it to the next level and really like explore what I want to do with it.
I agree, and I think the other bit of wisdom in what you're saying is like, even if you put out 1 or 2 or 3 songs and those blow up, then what? And to really, you have the foundation to continue to create music that's, of substance, and I think that that's an important thought, where it's slow and steady. It's fan by fan. It's song by song. It's day by day. And in the end, like, all of it can go away super fast. So like, it's really like what I'm hearing you say, and what I'm seeing is like, you feel excited. You feel good about the music you're putting out now. And that's really, more than anything, I think, important for the journey, right? Because at the end of the day, you're on your deathbed and you're looking back, you're going to be proud of the work that you did. And the recognition or the fame or the gigs or whatever, like, that stuff comes and goes, and it's very fleeting. Like, you may get to play Red Rocks, but the next day it's like on to the next. So
definitely. And if you're not, I don't know, I just feel like if I was, I'm now ready for that. Whereas if I was, I've made enough where it's like, if I do see whatever I see being succeeding a little bit more than others, I know I can go back and continue down that road, where it's not just like, I made this song and I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I can do that again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm creating something pretty sustainable with just kind of exploring all these genres. And
for sure, yeah, I think you've carved a good niche. So that being said, you've got some cool stuff coming up. You're playing Resonance Festival, is that right?
Yep, doing Resonance Fest and Dance Festopia coming up, and I'm definitely gonna be bringing pretty much like all unreleased sets to those. And hopefully, Resonance, I'm literally cranking out tunes right now, just trying to kind of get some more down, and that are kind of, I've been on a little bit of like a heavier thing lately, so.
Nice. Well, we're excited to hear that. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for all the knowledge and the chat. We're really excited for the release, Mountains Can't Cry, on September 6th.
Absolutely.
look for that. Pay what you want. And again, 10% of the net proceeds are going to
The 14ers in Colorado. We got it.
yes.
We're gonna take care of the 14ers so that they get.
So that basically helps them maintain these mountain ranges. And do they fight fires? What do they do? I actually don't know.
There has definitely been fires, but really it's just it is kind of like a pretty big Colorado activity that is people go hike 14ers. It's like some people do that like every weekend, and they can get pretty trashed. It's not like people are going crazy, but it's just like wear and tear if you've got tons of people going up. And so I just wanted to, with the album being named that, and I definitely was like, all right, let's see what we can do with just keeping that as maintained as possible. And I'm sure they'll find some other good ways to
totally
give some preservation to some areas. And yeah.
Love it. Well, I think that's the big thing with Gravitas. We want to be part of this, like, our slogan, doing good with good music. And so one of the things we're hoping to do more and more of is for every release, we're going to pick a cause, and that's going to give back to something. And we want it to come from the artist's heart. So like that was something that you picked out, that you were passionate about. And so, yeah, we're really excited to help you with that and work with you. And yeah, man. So
man. I'm glad you guys I think it's perfect for this album for sure. I was like really stoked when you guys were into it. I was like, nice.
Yeah. We need to get you back down to Austin soon, bud, and get you play some sets here.
Totally.
All right.
Always a good time down there.
Well, awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely, brother. Good
All right. Bye-bye.
Later.